morning. I am Matt Kendall, and this is the IEMT Q&A. It's the 31st. Just check it's the 31st. It's the 31st of March, 2006. Got some good questions today to get through. So let's start at the beginning. First of all, let me just paste the questions into the comments so you can see them as well. So let's start with question 1. That always tends to be the best place to start. I'll just have this so I can have me open as well. Okay, hi, I have a question. If you're wanting to demo IEMT in a group environment to promote this style of therapy, how would you do it if I can't watch every person as there would be with a one-to-one? Okay, I have done dozens and dozens of talks and demonstrations around IEMT. Here is what I would do. I would talk about IEMT first. I would talk about, what it is. I wouldn't talk much about the experience or the outcomes from IEMT. What I actually want to do is I want to create the opportunity for people to experience IEMT. What I would ask for is a volunteer just to come up to the front, and I would make it clear I'm not going to take you through the process. I am just going to show and demonstrate the actual process and the steps, but you're not actually going to do anything. And what I would do is I would do the introduction demo with somebody. So I get them up and I sit them in a chair and I say, okay, I want you to close your eyes. And do you have a memory that just sticks out? A negative memory, could be from a long time ago. And these are the questions that I would ask somebody. Okay, so is this a picture or movie? Okay. Does it feel near or far to you at the moment? Is it vivid? Are you seeing it like you're there, subjectively or objectively? And out of 10, how strong is the emotion you're experiencing whilst you're thinking about this memory now? So I'd get this information, guys. Okay, so this is what I'd then do with this person. Now, when I do this with you, I don't want you to think about the memory, but when you are doing this process, I want you to think about the memory. Now, you want to be about this far away from the person. So that person sat down, you're then stood up, and you're stood about a meter and a half away or so. Oh, I've got subtitles. Okay, and you want them to think about that memory, and you want to move their eyes. Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. You want to move their eyes across a horizontal line. And then once you've done that 6 times, you want to go to a diagonal line. And once you've done that 6 times, you want to go to the other diagonal line 6 times. Okay, so you want to do that 6 times. Once you've done that with somebody, get them to close their eyes and then ask them the same questions you asked them before and make a note of it. Then do it again. So do it again. Once you've done that, I want you to swap over. So the other person stands up, you sit down. They then ask you to think about a memory, hold it. Okay. Right, so do that back and forth. You've got 10 minutes and I want you to sit down. Okay. So once everybody has done that back and forth, you get them to sit down, you get them to close their eyes. Now, what I want you guys to do, I want you, if you've experienced any one of these things, which I'm going to mention, and then you can have a slide that comes up after this, which is very good. Close your eyes. I want you to raise your hand and keep it raised. Okay, so if that memory that you've worked on now, if it was a movie, which now seems like a picture, or a series of pictures, or a picture which is now faded out, if it seems further away from you in both space and time, keep your hands up, that's it. Okay. If that was subjective, but you now feel further away, like looking at it, okay. If it's less vivid and less clear, and if the emotion has now dropped, just raise your hand and keep it raised, and now open your eyes and look around the room. And you will find that you will get about a 95% success rate. So I don't demonstrate on one person. I demonstrate the process with one person and I get everybody else in the room to do the process. It works so well. Okay. Morning. Good morning. If I search for intrusive thoughts in this group, nothing comes up. I wanted to know if IEMT can be used for a client experience intrusive. Presume intrusive thoughts is what they mean. I suspect the answer is yes. Yep. Since I've had since I've had thought that the intrusive thoughts are most likely to be originating from negative memories, even though the client may not be consciously aware of those, can you please advise? Okay, so yeah, so with intrusive thoughts, there's different types of intrusive thoughts. You can have intrusive thoughts such as sort of negative self-talk when you're a common thing is if you live in London, if you go down to the platform on the tube station, people have intrusive thoughts to like push people on the tracks and sort of things like this, okay? So IMT is not necessarily going to work well for that. But intrusive thoughts tend to be, I would be from uh, memories that kind of come up, thoughts that and feelings that kind of come up. So if I've worked with people who have intrusive thoughts. So where I would start is like, well, what type of thoughts are they? What is the actual thought itself? And I would get them just to hold the thought itself, and do just like the eye movement on that. I would also see what emotion these intrusive thoughts evoke. So when you have these intrusive thoughts, what's it like? It's scary. Okay, you know this scary. How strong is scary? 9 out of 10. And how familiar? Very. When's the first time? So that's how I deal with intrusive thoughts. So first of all, get them to think about what the thought is, hold the thought, and then move the eyes on the thought itself. And then the feelings which these intrusive thoughts evoke. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. It was an intrusive thought itself. I knew it was coming. Okay, so I knew that was coming. Um, and then what feeling does that evoke as well? And I think and also just doing IMT in general, when you're working with negative stuff and trauma and stuff, you will find that intrusive thoughts will actually begin to subside naturally as a side effect. What should my logo and branding be like? I don't have time to cover this, just because it's such a big thing. It's such a big thing. That my best advice is, who do you want your brand to appeal to? Okay, who do you want your brand to appeal to? And what does it say? So I was speaking with somebody yesterday, and she was showing me her design work, and it looks nice, but and she was like, "This is a spiral of something." I was like, "I don't know what it means." And if you use your initials like MK something, MK Services, what is it? What is it? What is it that you do? What is it that you do? So I have a side quest called Walks to the Pub. It's so clear, the branding. So when you think about the branding, the first of all you have to think about is, what is your business name? What is your business name, and what is the service that you provide? Who do you provide it to? Your logo, you're not looking to win style awards, and you can't afford to do brand awareness type of marketing. You're not Coca-Cola, you're not Apple. You've got to create what's called direct response marketing. So direct response is that when somebody sees your marketing, there is a response from that person to take it a step further. So that's what you always want to be thinking about. Yes, you can incorporate your name if you want to into it, absolutely. I will be doing deep dives into branding about how you can do it. Canva's great for branding stuff these days. You can set up your own branding palette, and that's on the pro version, I think. But it's get your color sorted out, and you can go on websites, choose a color that you want to start with, then it'll tell you the colors that are complementary to that color, so you can actually do your branding around that, which is really cool. Then you want to, again, you want to be really clear. Yolanda always has really nice clear branding. Let me just I did have, in fact, just check, it's Yolanda Martin. In fact, I think she may have changed her name because she got married. But Yolanda's really clear. She's a personal trainer who works with women over 40 to get into the best shape of their life. something along those lines. That's really, really clear. So with branding, nobody has time for your mystery and stuff like that. Just tell people exactly what it is that you do. So with IEMT practitioner training, I don't know how much clearer I can be with that. IEMT practitioner training with Matt Kendall, or by Matt Kendall, with Matt Kendall, maybe. That's really, really clear, because I'm not looking for one-to-one clients. I'm looking for people who want to do IEMT practitioner training. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should be advertising IEMT, because not many people are really looking for IEMT at the moment, you know. They're looking for solutions to their problems. So your branding should go down that route. What should my branding be like? Okay, if someone has said they knew their mum didn't love them, how would you use the I, me, self, you around the mum? I get confused to apply it to other people, or would you do it on the actual person? I'm trying to understand how I'd go about it and what wording I would use. All right, okay. So first of all, what you want to do is you want to get them to explain this situation in base like a paragraph. For example, when I was younger, I knew my mum didn't love me. It has really affected me since then. We are trying to work out a relationship now, but I know that I will always feel a sense of loneliness, or whatever it means, basically like that. So you don't necessarily need to do an I, me, self view on this. You need to look at the actual pronouns that are being used. So, for example, I know that my mum didn't love me. Banging there. So my mum is a pronoun. So the pronoun there is mum. Now, when you think about mum, this mum that didn't love you, bring that person out in front of you, this identity, this person who didn't love you, hold that identity for as long as you can, and then do the lazy 8 on the identity of mum. Didn't love me. Didn't love, that could be an emotion, didn't love. Okay. And when you think about didn't love, how strong is that feeling of didn't love? And when's the first time you can remember feeling this way? Okay. Hold that. How strong, obviously. And me, this me that wasn't loved. Where is this me? How old is this me? What's going on around this me? So I hope that makes sense. You don't necessarily need to do an I, me, self, you. I like to do an I, me, self, you from something that's current. Something that's current, an area of life they want to change now. If you're doing historical stuff, look at how they structure the problem using the pronouns. I'm looking for pronouns and emotions here. Pronouns and emotions, which I can then work on. Hi, Matt. Are you able to expand on the membership? Are you able to expand more about the business membership? That would be good. Yeah. Would there be a step-by-step guides, checklist, and modules? Absolutely. For people starting a business for the first time, and how else could it be help, I presume the meaning there. So yeah, so I am starting a business marketing membership site. I'm putting it together at the moment. It'll be released in a couple of months probably. So I understand that, you might know these amazing skills. You might know hypnotherapy, NLP, RTT, all these different kinds of things. But if you don't know how to create a business and run a business, then you can have the greatest skills in the world. And it's incredibly frustrating knowing that you can help people, but you don't have any people to help. And it is very, very frustrating. Now, it's not your fault. It's because you don't know about business. Now, I've been in business for myself for 20 plus years now, and I've run different types of businesses. I used to run an online print and design studio. I know I can't do any design work. I used to hire designers. It was a lot of fun. Very, very, very stressful printing. Bloody hell. Bloody hell, it was stressful. Um, but then I started doing hypnotherapy around the same kind of times. Yeah, about the same kind of time. I've been an IMT trainer for 13 years, something like that. I've also done a lot of meetup groups. So I did over £200,000 front-end sales on Meetup, which was good. I had the largest self-development meetup group in the world and the highest rated group outside of America. That was nice. Then I've started a side quest in the last year or just over a year ago called Walks to the Pub. And again, that's doing very well now. I do 2 events a month with that. We get 60 people, well, up to 60 people at each event. And I'm now doing joint ventures and other things like that as well. And my first advice, my best advice in the beginning is to read the E-Myth. That's where you should start. Read the E-Myth. I love the I can't show you because it's on my phone. I have a morning routine. Let me just see if I can show it to you. But I don't want to show it to you. It's got some personal stuff on it. But my morning routine, which I do every day, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 things, 16 things that I have literally on a tick list that I do every single morning. Now, why is that relevant? Because I do that with everything in my business. So after I finish this call now, I have a 22-point plan that I do with this video. With well, not just with this video, but after I do a Q&A, I have a 22-point plan. It sounds boring, doesn't it? And a lot of it is. A lot of running your own business is doing admin work. If you're going to business for yourself, thinking you're just going to turn up in the morning, you've got clients until you finish when you want, and then you go home, you're in for some bad shocks, unfortunately, because when you run your own business, 50%, at least 50% of it is doing admin. It's much more than that. To make you sort of understand, I do 1 training weekend a month. The rest of my time is doing admin around it. Okay, the rest of the time is doing admin around it. The course, or the course and the training, it's going to be like it'll be how-to guides. Yeah, it won't be sort of inspirational stuff. I'll be trying to put people off trying to be a therapist more than anything. Unless you're willing to put the work in, because if not, you're just going to be disappointed. But if you're willing to put the work in, you can have an amazing career in therapy, in IEMT, in hypnotherapy, whatever it might be. But you need to know how to get the business running. So we're going to be looking at all different types of how to get the business sorted, from your social media, creating content, creating your standard operating procedures, getting things like business bank accounts, getting and a lot of it will be tick lists and to-do lists. I will let you guys know more about that as it develops. Okay, any other questions, please put them in the comments. If not, I am going to call it a day. So I've got a lot of things to do today. All right, guys, well, thank you very much, and I will see you all soon.